Knicks Morning Coffee. I'm Mr. King. Y'all know my partner Joe Cool.
That's the word.
All right, so I got a couple of questions I got to ask you today.
Don't ask me nothing.
Everybody knows that free agency kicked off 6 o'clock Friday. So before we even get into what we did, one of the questions I had in my mind was, are we bumbling free agency?
I think they're just going through the same routine, slow.
Yeah, because I look at we all like our team, right? So, and we knew that some changes had to be made based on what happened in the playoffs. Even though the playoffs we was hit with some injuries. DiVincenzo is something that everybody could say that he's an excellent pickup. And I look at losing Obi. We did get 2 second-round picks. I don't know the significance of the second-round picks. I don't know if they 2 drafts in the same draft or they spread out. I don't know that. But Obi's what we got for Obi.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, so we get into that too. So that's why I said, are we bumbling free agency? Because we had these draft picks. We had contracts that we could use. And again, the contracts that we could use, these are ways that GMs and presidents, this is where you got to finagle to have people take on contracts. Fournier might be considered a bad contract to some, but he might be considered a good contract to others. So you still have it. Could you have used that 19 million? And for that one, you just wanted the salary. So the best part about it is that we don't know what's going to happen yet because free agency still is going on. But his contract expires next year. So do you sit on it till next year and let it play out? Or do you get something for it that's valuable to you right now? Because obviously Obi's 2 second-round picks, unless you're using them in another trade, that's not valuable to us right now.
Yeah. Start off with Obi, since that happened first, right? The only thing that get me mad about Obi, even though all year long we're saying this is like a different Knicks, but that's the same old Knicks thing. Like, you don't like a player for whatever reason, or somebody has a problem with a player, you don't just give them away for nothing. J.R. Smith, Porzingis, now Obi, right? That's the people I can name on the top of my head. You don't give him away for just 2 picks. And if you did want to give him away and just throw him in a trade, you should at least throw him in a trade where you got something out of it.
Yeah.
Because I know for sure I knew Pacer fans that want Obi anyway.
Yeah, you mentioned that what Earl said a few weeks ago.
Now, that was like a couple months ago. That we'll take Obi off your hands and we'll give you such and such. The players that you would have gave us that he was naming, you know what? We kind of would have just took him.
Yep.
And he was like saying 2 players' names. I was like, for Obi? You think Obi that good? I like Obi. But if you think Obi that good, then what you other fans are talking about, what you think? But I don't know. That was insane to me. Like, people argue with coaches all the time. So what if people heard it?
Well, this is the backdrop to that for me, is that you did this with Obi, you did this with Cam Reddish. You're not playing Fournier, and I'm talking about Tibbs now. So now with management, don't come back 2-3 years from now and you get rid of Tibbs.
Yeah.
Because if these are the reasons why, if they're not playing, and these are the reasons why they're not playing, because coach has no use for them. We needed shooters. Well, we had 2 shoot. We had Reddish part of the year, and we had Fournier the whole year. Now, coach couldn't find a way to use them, then that's his right, but that's on him. And then you get rid of a guy like Obi who can stroke it, but can do other things. So don't come back next year and say you firing Tibbs, because I think they battle with that every year with World Wide West apparently is not in Tibbs' corner, but Leon Rose is. So you get rid of Tibbs next year, that sends a real bad precedent to a lot of people that you let somebody come and gut your team the way Phil Jackson kind of did, with players, mistreating players, and then he's gone. So they got to be real smart about that. But now part of trying to hold on to money assets, like IQ says in his next, and I kind of jumped. IQ said in his next thing. He wants $100 million. He wants $100 million in his next contract. Now, but let's think about it. If IQ was a runner-up, if it was between three people going down to the wire, right, and it was only right that he didn't win Sixth Man of the Year. But if he was in that kind of talk for the whole second half of the season, and you gave him a 5-year deal, $20 million wouldn't be nothing, especially if he continues to grow. So you'd be basically getting a bargain. And I know the Knicks say they don't want to pay $25 million for a backup point guard, but he's almost like our Swiss Army knife too.
I mean, you know, it's crazy. I'm thinking about the money aspect. I don't really know how it works, but these players is getting $231 million. If you're only giving a player $60 million, $100 million, I don't see what the issue is.
Yeah, I think
a lot of people saying, "Oh, he worked that much." I'm like, players is getting a LaMelo Ball guy, $200 and something million.
Yeah,
and y'all worried about Donte DiVincenzo's $50 million?
Well, they're looking at the stakes. Yeah, they're looking at the stakes are going to change.
But
because they're comparing Dante's salary to Gabe Vincent, you know, from Miami that went to, who did he go to? His salary, he got $33 million for 4 years.
I think we got another steal. So that's what I was waiting for. I looked at his highlights. I'm looking at his track record. I'm looking at him
ball, yeah.
And I'm like, did we just pick up somebody that? So like Hart, people already was high on Hart. Everybody wasn't high on Brunson. DiVincenzo seemed like everybody quiet now. It's like, did we just do something again where it's like he might be a really good player under the hood?
No, he's a good player, no doubt about
it.
So
that's what I'm saying. So remember I told you, I said, I don't care what they do, as long as they're better than what we got. He might be better than Quickly because he's doing everything we complained about Quickly doing.
Well,
he's doing everything
I'm glad you said that because let me go over this right quick then.
Because you brought up Quickly and DiVincenzo. That's what I compared him to. I was like, so what does he do better than? He might not do it better than Brunson, but he damn sure do it better than Quickly.
Well, let's go over that right quick because that's the best segue we can get into. Let's look at the pros and cons of Donte DiVincenzo. He shoots, right? Everybody know that. He drives. He runs the floor. He rebounds. He plays D. He plays multiple positions, right? Not to mention that he has history with Brunson and Hart. Now, what we did in using Obi in that trade is that we essentially traded one problem for another. And that another problem is the same problem that we already got. So because Obi couldn't play because Randall was getting all those minutes, right? You can argue it, you cannot argue it. I mean, Obi averaged, they say he averaged 14. It seemed like it's closer down to 11 when you stretch it out over the year. I think it only seemed like 14 when you add it all up because of the time Randall was out and he started. So could we have given Obi 8-9 more minutes, right? A game, at least get him up to 20. So now we bring in this guy who could do so many things and we love him. But unless we did some type of a move, we just created the same problem. Our backcourt was way more crowded than our front court. Because last year, Deuce barely played, Fournier didn't play, and Rose didn't play. So that's three guys that could play for us and start for us that didn't even get on the floor most of the time. So now we bring in another guy who could do all these things. What are we gonna do with him?
Yeah. So now,
or who was out?
So my thought process was when you got rid of Obi, you're probably gonna look to fill that spot with a legit person, right? When you got DiVincenzo, the first thing I said was that means RJ Quickly they leaving.
So I don't know no more
because then why did Hart take that small contract? Well, he could have probably just got a big one. Well,
that's what puzzles me.
So like
that was to say
you didn't take a small contract just so you can get your boy.
No, because this is where the puzzling part for that is. Hart's contract, he supposedly was going to help the Knicks save money, right?
That's what I'm saying. You didn't save money for him.
Listen. In August, he's due for an extension in August. So it's supposed to have been that he can get up to an $80 million contract at $20 million a year that he could sign in August if he waited now to give the Knicks more flexibility in free agency.
Right.
So and that wouldn't hurt us against the books. So that's supposedly why he waited. Now the bad thing would be is that if we stiffed him and didn't give him that, because I also think that Hart could have probably got that and more had he opted out. But the Knicks convinced him to opt in because he did want to come back, to opt in, and then we'll take care of you in August. What if we don't take care of him in August?
No, I don't think
But at the same time, the money that we save, and this is where somebody can help me out because I'm confused. They say that we needed to get rid of Obi $6 million to be able to get DiVincenzo at $12 million. We got him at around $12 million, a little over 12. DiVincenzo, right? We didn't pick up Derrick Rose option for 14 plus, so we had that money. So why did we have to get rid of Obi? And maybe later you could get rid of Obi, but where did his $6 million? If you got rid of Rose 14 plus and you brought in DiVincenzo for 14 plus, that still saves you $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that people got to get paid. You got to think in the future that if you're going to pay IQ, if you're going to, or you're going to try to trade him before you got to pay him, and then also Brunson next year, you got to start looking at.
What's confusing about IQ is, like I said, you got Hart, IQ, RJ. They all play what, the 1 to 2?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do they play the 3? Hart play the 3?
Yeah, he played the 3. Remember last year at one point with the small lineup, they asked him who was the 4, and Tibbs said Hart.
Yeah, that's why I said that's what's confusing.
But that flexibility carries you so far.
Yeah, that's what's confusing about the Knicks, because I think maybe RJ is probably on the chopping block to get traded. Cause you got too many. You can see that we got too many people in that.
Well, that one is definitely because you picked up, which wasn't much. You picked up Deuce's option, which I'm glad they did. So, but that's only gonna. I think he made like 1 point something million last year. So you pick up that option. So now, what does that leave you? Now, this is the creativity I thought they could have had. If you was gonna try to do something with RJ's 23, 24 million, right? And then you had Derrick Rose's 14 to 15 million. And then you had Fournier's 18 to 19 million. So let's just say too, you wanted to throw in Obi's. So now you looking at it roughly between the 50 and 60 million dollar range. If you was trying to keep your core team intact and then go out and try to get a star.
Yeah, now I was thinking about Damian Lillard because I said that would have made sense for them. They were trying to rebuild. Damian Lillard don't want to be there for that. So if they would have took RJ quickly, they would have had their backup point guard, RJ at day 2. I don't know who they got at day 2, but
yeah, they got you know, they drafted the guard.
Threw some even Fournier or somebody else in. I think they would have been good with that if we took Dame Lillard.
And they probably would have took Obi.
Now, would Dame would have been good with that? Because he said he want to go to Miami. I think he gone home. But I think if he go to Miami, he's not going to be playing over there with people he think he playing with.
Yeah, and plus, and they don't have to. They don't have to accommodate Dame. That's just like a gentleman's agreement. But you don't know where that's gonna leave you, because Dame, to me, could have made that decision right before free agency. But you holding on, they're not going to do nothing for you. They haven't done nothing for you. Okay, they brought in Melo for you. They haven't done nothing for you since you've been there, especially later years after they tried to make it work with you and McCullough. So you keep stringing it along that I want to come back, I'm loyal, I want to be loyal, just get me somebody in here. They're not getting you nobody in here. So you should have put yourself on the market before free agency when people still had money to maneuver. So now, to me, they don't owe you nothing to me, meaning Portland, as far as Dame. They can send you where they want to send you. Yeah. And if I'm Portland too at this point, other free agents won't look at that in a bad way because they didn't come join y'all anyway. So get something for him while you can.
Right.
You know, some players have the leverage, but some players, I mean, who was that? Bradley Beal, with his no trade clause he had the leverage. Right? Did he deserve that leverage? To me, no. Somebody that you're not that good in that sense, and then you always hurt. So when I was asking the question, did the Knicks fumble and bumble free agency? I look at this for the Knicks. Did we choose patience over opportunity? Because we say our patience is, you know, we got a good team that we like, and we do. And we got that close, right, in the second round. Maybe should have been in the conference finals, right? So, okay, now you can just add a piece that you could drop in there to do good. Is DiVincenzo that piece? So the patience is now for the Knicks, play this team out, or are we just waiting, like they say, next year when we can have more money in cap space to get a free agent? When the opportunity time, though, is now, because there's so many people that was free agents and that was available to be had. it via trade if you could maneuver it.
Yeah, these players, the players that they think they're gonna get, unless they just don't want to be where they at. Looking at a lot of these interviews and these players, even with Chris Paul, they don't want to move their family. So if the team that they with can pay them a number that they satisfied with, they won't leave. If you tell me I can have $230 million and stay, and then try to send me somewhere else for $240 million, I might just take the $230 million and stay. Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, look at Chris Paul.
That's what I'm saying.
He left, but his family stayed in L.A. So now he's back on the East Coast, and it could be moved again. But that's why I say the opportunity part. You look at all the names that was traded. Compare the names that was traded, and the names that is not over yet. The names that have been brought up in trades, like Embiid, and Cat, and all them guys. Lillard, who hasn't been traded yet. James Harden, not that we want him, but hasn't been traded yet. You think of all these names that come up in trade, and you make a list, right? You got some of our best talent in the league, minus, LeBron, Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry. Everybody else pretty much, Devin Booker if you want to throw him in there. But most of everybody else's name came up in the trade. So if they got traded or they came up in the trade, which means they could be had. So how shrewd are you as a businessman that can go out and the patience is now. The patience and the opportunity is in the same offseason.
Get one of them young boys off, like another one of them young boys off Golden State. You couldn't throw Obi in now and try to get Wiseman.
Well, DiVincenzo.
I'm talking about you couldn't get DiVincenzo. You couldn't try to get Wiseman or anything. Do they play him like that? They probably.
Well, that's that whole thing with the CAA, versus clutch sports. Are we only looking at CAA players? Like, is that all we? Because Rose still has family with CAA also. So are we only doing that?
I mean, is there only but 2 big agencies?
No, it's a whole lot of eight. It's a whole lot of eight. These are the ones the media talk about.
But is that why it looks like that?
Well, it looks like that because it's like that. When we go after a player, that's where their ties come from.
I mean, but that war could have been started in spite of.
Well, we know.
That's like I said. That's probably a whole nother conversation we probably gotta have. Cause that probably started with when Rich Paul came into the league and disrupted everything.
Well,
and
he ain't just
now they like, I don't want to deal with him.
Nah, he ain't just disrupt nothing. He, and this is only like not really knowing at all, but LeBron was CAA himself.
I mean,
so now when you get LeBron, you and LeBron decides. And LeBron on paper can't have nothing to do with it, but we know when he's done with his career, he's going to have something to do with it. So you and LeBron starts his agency, which is excellent. Nobody's not disputing that. And then LeBron, now you talking other players come over to you. So now you also, and people do that too. So you're taking you're taking players from CAA to clutch sports. And that's fine. Nobody can fault you from that. But that's probably where the division lies. Now then you add that on top of the only reason why those other agents was probably going after Rich Paul in the beginning was because of taking players leaving.
Now did that feud make it where I don't even want none of his players? You know what I mean? Like they inside arguments. That's what I'm saying. Like your inside arguments say, you know what? Ever go to them, I don't even want to look at them. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to put money in his pocket. It could be. I mean, but it could just be a coincidence.
Well, Reddish. Well,
we only know CAA and Clutch. Like we don't really know.
I can't remember now all the other names, but we know a whole lot of other names.
But not all the other names don't come up.
The big names when Patrick Ewing and Michael Jordan, all those guys was with David Falk and Pro Serve. So it was a lot of other agencies. It's just that the media is portraying it like there's only one or two.
So
but there's a whole. First of all, Mitchell Robinson was firing his agent every year. And Happy Waters was a well-known, long-time agent. So people leave. And I think another thing Rich Paul probably did was he probably enlightened players on how they can get out of their contracts with the agent. Because you can let them go whenever you want.
Yeah, there's only one thing he said that I did not agree with, which probably why Mitchell Robinson always firing his agents. An agent got to realize, even though you got the connections and I pay you for that, you still work for me.
Yeah, but
that's what all agents, I feel like, lose the source. Like you making these decisions like, oh, I'm not sending none of my players to the Knicks, or I'm not sending none of my players. It was like, yo, I want to live in New York. That's like Carl Anthony Towns. Say if he want to come to New York, but you're a Clutch Sports say if you I don't know where he at, but say you work, you do business with Clutch. I want to be closer to home. So who are you to tell me that, don't go to New York because they only giving you, your best interest should be at Hart. If New York is only going to give you but $30 million a year or something like that, so what? I don't care about LA giving me 40, 50 mil. I'll just take the 30 mil and stay in New York.
Yeah, teams do that, yeah. Players,
You know what I mean?
Players do that, yeah. Yeah, it's but a lot of that falls on the players' ignorance because a lot of them do come in the league so young. Because it was once upon a time your agent was just your agent. Now they use the agent and the agent's people handling a lot of their affairs. So now it's almost like you working for the agent now. Just let him negotiate your contracts, and then you get other people that deal with your affairs, unaffiliated with the agency company.
Nah, yeah, I kind of.
Because they don't need to be all up in y'all's business like that, but y'all come off as little boys to a degree.
I mean, they are. They don't understand the league. They're gonna.
But that's why you listen to your veterans. That's why.
But people are gonna make it sound harder than it actually is. Like I see when these agents and stuff talk, they're making it sound way harder than it is. I'll just tell. I look at them dead and they feel like, my man, you got $20 million this year. If you can't figure this out, I don't know what to tell you. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Jay-Z said the hardest part is making your first million. You made 20 mil. Like, what's good with you?
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
but
you can't not think after that.
They can't because there's no precedent for it. But when the NBA first set you up with a mentor after you get drafted, guys don't keep in touch with these people. They don't call these people because everybody once you got a little money in your account, everybody know it all. So what veteran you gonna listen to? And that's what I don't know if it was Baron Davis or somebody on somebody's show was just talking and they asked him what advice would you give the young kid is gonna come to me probably later. And they said the advice I give you is listen to your vets. When you get to training camp, sit by your vet, hound your vet, and listen to everything your vet tells you. Now, some of that might not be true either.
I seen some of that. I seen that. That's harder too because your vet is 23 years old.
And this, yeah.
So
yeah,
how you gonna listen to your vet and how you gonna go to the Pelicans and listen to Zion and Zion out here wilding?
Well, look at
how you gonna go listen to Shaq? And even though Shaq is highly respectable, you know what he do when he was younger.
Yeah, but Shaq, he's still telling you how to make money. But look at
that's what I'm saying.
Look at what Shumpert said, what Iman Shumpert said, when they asked him last week that what kind of guidance did he get, and he was saying, yeah, our Knicks team was out of control, but he said Melo would sit me down with all the little nuances about the game and about business. Early in the morning. So even with all Melo's faults, Melo knew how to take care of those players. Like, don't do what I do what I say. I'm gonna teach you the business part. Now, whatever I might go out there and do, don't look at that. But we go by sight. We don't go by.
I mean, well.
So the vets take a Todd.
That was a different kind of vet. That's Melo, LeBron, Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade. They already. That's like Shaq. Like you can see their business outside of the NBA. Like if they don't play basketball no more, you knew they was gonna be good 10 years ago. You know what I mean? With the wine and the clothing and the media, you knew they was gonna be good. Going on YouTube, they was kind of the older dudes that kind of grasped onto what the younger generation is doing. The only thing that's good about the younger generation is the ones that's playing for like the G League at night and the overtime team, and they understand media. So maybe they're gonna be fine, like the twins, like the brothers. They kind of understand. They've been getting money already. So when they go to the NBA, I already was making $10 million a year. So that don't matter to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So maybe those dudes are probably gonna be this new generation. Probably gonna understand.
And some of them come from good stock too.
Yeah.
Some of them come from homes that preparing them just growing up, just being good people.
The Ball brothers, I don't think they're ever gonna have a money issue. Their parents had money. You know what I mean? His father, as crazy as he was, he made a lot of sense. Own this shit. Do this. Like, a lot of these players are fine. The ones that stick out, like Zion and John Morant, I don't know what they found.
Yeah, so now, that's what I mean. Like, what do we go as an organization? Now, you know that cap, and we're going to dive into that probably in the weeks to come.
Nah, I think
that cap for next year, how the players will still get more money from the gate than the owners get. But they're putting the cap on what the teams can spend. So now it'd be hard, even though Phoenix did it, it'd be hard to have those 3, let alone they got 4 max contracts. Because they're trying to even out the playing field. So if a team now gonna have the penalties are gonna be more and teams don't want to start going over the penalty threshold, where do that leave us in terms of when they say patience, the Knicks want to be patient for next year though. That's the only part that got me confused is what's next year? Like our biggest problem has always been we've been waiting for somebody to become available. Right?
Or drafting somebody
but it's always been that way, right? So the iron is really, really hot right now. And I just thought we should have attacked. If that's what our plan for next year is to try to get that big fish, then we could have got that big fish this year. Because one thing I did know about the James Harden trade, had they made that move before you start these other things, you could have got him and then his contract would have expired next year anyway. If that's the case, then you would have had that whole salary to work with. So if that's all you're doing, then we could have made a move and got a solid piece in here. I look at a piece like Harvey Grant. I don't know if that's his first name, but out of Portland, right? That they talked about trying to get the past couple of years. So Portland had only re-signed him because they was trying to keep Dame. So they re-signed him, even though it's not official until Thursday. So then Dame comes back and says on the first, he comes back and says, I want to be traded, So Portland said, well, we're still going to honor Harvey's contract. But do they really want to honor it? So now Knicks, knowing that could be your small forward right there. A defensive, a real 3-and-D guy who could do multiple things. That you could try to steal people like that. So we keep waiting patience. What is this year patience for? Unless you said to me the patience is to let this team develop and run it back. I could see that. I don't even have a problem with that. But if it's patience to go out and so you're going to gut the team next year, when you could have done things this year and have to worry about next year.
I know, right? Every other team seems like they got to figure it out. The fans, even when I talk to the Heat fans, they're like, nah, we good, but we just waiting for Dame. If we don't get him, we good. Knicks fans is like, I guess we running it back with the same team, but then you got rid of Obi. I feel like we needed Obi. I feel like he just needed more minutes. So now you breaking our morale because you're getting rid of players that we want to see on the Knicks. But then you went to go get his brother. So now you just dropped his brother too, probably?
Yeah, I think they gave him the two-way. I think they gave him the two-way contract. I'm not sure. But just that whole, I like our team. Just the Knicks, just do what you really say you're going to do. Stop stringing us along year after year after year. Okay, let's run it back with this team. Okay, you put a nice piece in DiVincenzo. But now you got to do another move anyway. Because Tibbs, even if he start out playing 10 men, he ain't going to keep playing 10 men. So is it IQ? Is it RJ? Those are the only two it could be. Because anybody else will be getting regular minutes. So, or is it Grimes?
I don't think nobody really wants Grimes like that.
No, I'm talking about, I mean,
think he need another
we unloaded. It's like we unloading people. So, so what are we doing in that sense? And this is not even a complaint.
McBride left, right?
Who?
McBride left,
No,
right?
we picked up his contract.
Oh, we did?
They wasn't going to at first, and because only a couple of million.
How he going?
Well, he probably knows that he ain't going to play. Now you brought in another guard-oriented type of player. So
yeah,
he might have been hoping that they...
He definitely ain't playing, and now I want to see what Tip do, because quickly, that's what you wanted quickly to do, and quickly don't do that. So then...
Yeah. It's gonna be a rocky ride unless...
As cool as you think all these dudes are, when Brunson see that his mans is playing...
Yeah, and he's gonna warrant...
And he coming from Golden State where he had the okay to pull it from that far.
And he used to be in Milwaukee. So he coming from good, systems. So yeah, we want DiVincenzo, so don't get that part twisted. We just saying for the Knicks.
No, I'm saying I feel bad for Quickly. As much as we like Quickly.
I feel bad. I don't feel bad for Quickly if he's the odd man out, because like this is the thing I like DiVincenzo, but who I would have liked more, and I said it last week, was Bruce Brown. Because we talking about things that hurted us in the playoffs. And DiVincenzo, he'll be almost like Grimes and them. You got to fit opportunity. Now, Hart just took his opportunity, right? Is DiVincenzo that type of player to take it? to me, Bruce Brown, you can't cry over spilled milk. But what he did for Denver, he's the type of player that went to the Pacers. He can just get the ball and go. And it's like having Hart, but a little bit more efficiency. So I would have been more happy with a move like that. A guy that you could just throw in there, and it's like having another right arm. So yes, we're gonna fall in love with DiVincenzo, but I would have really have liked to see them go after Bruce Brown.
Yeah, true. But with DiVincenzo, he to me, he's like a perfect piece of it. He just fit. Like, say quickly was gone, everything we wanted quickly to do, he do. Boom. Like, you could look at his highlights and be like, imagine if that was quickly, you'd be like, yeah. Or just pull it right there quick. Or go to the basket.
No, we got to. No, we got to
play. And
play
he's dunking at the same time.
No, we got to play it. There's no doubt about it. We got to play it.
Passing it to the cutter. But he's gonna be like, Brunson probably don't got to work as hard no more.
But as it stands today, we still have everybody on our roster as far as that backcourt. So we got a lot more time to go in free agency, and let's just think about this too. When by that time it'd be over, but Mikal Bridges, Hart, and Brunson. Hart just got added to the USA team for the summer. So all three of them will be on the team together. Oh, wow. So you don't think they're going to have them conversations. You know, Mikal might be like telling them, look, y'all could have fought for me more than, even though they all boys. You know, they all played together. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Knicks do to this roster. Because even in the front court, Isaiah Roby, who we picked up last year, right now he's plugged in as our power forward. As of right now. So our power forward don't play that much anyway, but they do play. So are the Knicks comfortable?
Oh, yeah, I forgot we got him. So
yeah. Are they comfortable giving him those minutes? But I also like us to think about Jericho Sims getting some of them power forward minutes also. Yeah, you know, stretch out his role because he showed last year at certain times he can take it off the board and bring it up for a few dribbles if he have to. So people have skills that have not been able to show it with the Knicks. So this is going to be an interesting offseason.
But you know me, I'm done with potential and what I think you can do.
Well, that's what it doesn't matter who we bring in if we don't allow them to do it.
I want to know what you can do, and that's it. Like,
well, again, we have to let them do it when they come in. Hart is the only one that came in, and that's because of his relationship with Brunson and Randall. That confidence he already had with them two guys. You know, no, go in and do your thing. Go don't worry about it. What the rest of the team going to say if the two star players also want this guy to have the green light? Nobody else can't say nothing.
Right.
So DiVincenzo going to get that same. He's going to get that same thing because he'll be out there with Hart and Brunson.
He's going to be doing everything 28 wanted to do and more.
Yeah. See, RJ didn't have that cliche when it came to.
Well, RJ
Reddish.
had the keys.
Well, when it came to Reddish, I'm talking about. He had that to get his boy, you know, because now that could have been RJ, Reddish, and Zion. It could have been those three, but that's how it's turning out to be. All right, so we're gonna keep an eye on free agency. Still a lot can happen. There's still a lot going on. And should the Knicks make another move, or should we just stand pat?
Woj just talking about getting me. That's what he's talking about.
Something in Woj's cup. All right. So until next time, peace.
Peace.